Hi there, my name is Stefan, and in this video, we'll create a website header with Elementor. Header is a crucial element of website as it serves several important functions and provide essential information to visitors. Informations like logo, navigation menu, social icons, and so on and so on. All right, let's dive in and start creating our header.
In order to create the Elementor header, we need to go to the Templates, Theme Builder. Here you can see all the templates that you created so far, but in our case we don't have any. So in order to create a header template, you can hover over header and click on this plus icon, or click on the header where you can preview all the header templates that you created so far. In our case, we don't have any templates created. So to add a new template header, we need to click on this plus add new. And we're going to be redirected to the Elementor editor where we're going to create the header. Now, before that, we can see these pre-made headers created by Elementor under the blocks tabs. We will recreate, or actually we'll create the header from scratch using our wireframe that we created. So this is the header that we need to create. In there we have a container that will hold all of these elements like logo, icon list, and then social media icons. Now let's close this pop-up here and let's follow our header wireframe that we created. So basically what we need is, as I said, one container with 3 widgets. What we can see here is the Elementor editor, and on the left side we have the widget panel where all the widgets are listed. Basically you can create a website but just dragging these widgets onto your page or your templates simply by just, as I said, drag them over here. So this is, as I said, the widget panel. This hamburger menu is what we covered in our previous tutorials. We can access site settings, theme builder, preferences, and so on and so on. If we click on these square icons here, you're going to basically see the widget panel or the widgets here. Down here we have the settings, header settings, where you can rename your template or your page. So let's rename it to website header template. And also you can change the status to draft, private, publish, and so on. But we will publish this header once we click on this publish button here. Navigator is actually this on the right. As you can see, easy navigation is here, from where you can see the widgets that you added onto your page or template. Pretty useful stuff. I like to use it all the time. History is where you can see the revisions or actions. Actions are once you add something to your page, they're gonna be added here, so you can quickly, undo the changes. Once you refresh the page, they're gonna be removed, so they're only here for one session. While revisions, you can access revisions of your page or template from yesterday, from 20 minutes ago, so they're stored here. And it's also pretty important to know, since if you make some changes that you don't like, you can access the revision for, let's say, 20, 15, 30 minutes. Responsive mode is, once you turned it on, you can optimize your website for different devices like desktop, tablet, and mobile. Pretty handy stuff as well. And preview is also self-explanatory. Basically, you're going to preview what you created so far. All right, let's go and create our header. So let's click on this plus icon to add a new container. And in this case, we'll choose this container, meaning arrow to the right means that the elements that we add inside of this container will be in one row. So let me show you that. If we click here, as I said, if we add widgets inside of this container, they're gonna be in one row. Let's go over the container a little bit because it's pretty important, since containers are the ones that help you structure your website. Now, the content width box means that the content inside of this container will not be stretched from left and right. They'll be stretched depending on this width. And as we can see, it's 1140. So the elements inside of this container, they can't go outside of the container. Minimum height is actually the height of this container. Direction is what we decided here. So basically in this case, it's row horizontal. So that means that widgets, elements, they're gonna be in one row. Then we have column vertical, which means that widgets that you add inside of the container are gonna go below each other. Row reversed is basically the widgets will be in the same row, but the first widget you add will be positioned on the right. That also goes for this column reverse. They're going to be below each other, but in reversed order. Justify content and align items they're helping us to position our elements inside of the container, and gaps is the gap between the widgets. Now let's start adding widgets. As I said, we're going to follow our framework here. So what we need is the logo widget, icon list widget that we're going to link to these headings here or sections, and then social media icons that we're going to link to social media. Right, so let's add this site logo. It's the logo widget. Let's drag it inside of the container. In order to change this or to add the logo, since this is the dynamic widget, basically it's pulling the information, in this case logo, from WordPress and displaying it here. So what we need to do is click change site logo, and then you can add the site logo here. So when you share your website, this logo will be shared along with the rest of the information, like the description about the website, title, and so on. So let's click on the plus icon. I already created my own logo, so we're going to use this one. You can use your own logo. Left click on the logo, click select, and also one more thing, we have the site favicon. So this is the icon. As you can see, Canva has its own, so you can add your own favicon. In this case, I'm going to use the same one as the logo. So click logo and select, and then click update. Let's close this site settings. And as you can see, the logo is now loaded. The next thing we need is the icon list widget. So let's drag it here, simply like that. We'll fix this design a bit later. Let's add all the widgets we need. And the last one is the social icons. So let's drag it here. If you're having trouble dragging it, what you can do is, let's actually delete this, let me show you, is you can click on the last widget you added and then search for the next widget you want to add. And instead of dragging, you can just left click on it, and it's gonna show on the right. Now, since we added all the widgets, let's focus on styling them. Now, the logo itself is looking good, but let's style it a little bit differently. We have 3 widgets here. Now, the logo will take 25% of this header. The icon list gonna take 50%, because if you take a look, it takes the most space here. And then social icons, they're gonna take 25% as well. So we'll have 100% in total. Now, in order to change the width of the widget itself, we need to click on the widget and then click on the advanced tab, and then change the width to custom width, and change to 25%. There we go. Now the icon list, as I said, we're gonna change to 50%. So left click on the icon list, click on the advanced, change the width to custom, and then change the custom width to 50%. As you can see, it takes more space now. Social icons will change to 25% as well. Let's go back to the site icon and let's go to the style. You can change the width of the image itself to whatever width you would like. In our case, let's change to 75%, and then change the alignment. As you can see, there is a gap here to left, because we want all of our content to be aligned. Let me show you what I mean. As you can see, this logo here will be in line with this content here, with this image, and so on. So in order to reduce that gap, we'll choose the alignment to left, because the width is not 100%. If it is 100%, it's going to take 100% of the widget itself, but we'll change to 75. Now, the next thing is the icon list. First thing what we need to do is in the content tab, we need to change to inline, so that these elements or list items will be in the same line. And then let's delete the icons by clicking on the list item, and let's change this one to, if you take a look at the wireframe, to about me. Then the next step is my work. And the last is contact me. In order to link these menu items with the rest of the page, like about me, my work, and so on, we need to do it through link. But we'll cover this in the tutorial when we create this whole page, because we need the rest of the page in order to link them to certain sections like about me or my work. All right. Style, space between the list items is okay. We don't need to change that. We deleted the icon, so we don't need the icon tab here. So the text here, typography, instead of text, I recommend we use button text, because as you can see, it's more bigger than the text widget itself. Color, if we take a look at the wireframe, it's white, so we need to change the color of our menu items here to white. We will add the background to the container so it can be black. Always take a look at your wireframe, what you're basically using as a guidance. So before we continue, let's change the container background to black. So left click on the container, go to the style, background type, classic, choose the color, the global color that we created, black, and this is how it looks. Now, also before we continue, we can go back to the layout of the container and now position the content to center and then align item center so that all the widgets will be nicely centered. Also, if we click on the icon list, and we can position the content inside of the icon list to center, so it will look like this. And the last thing that we need to do is click on the social icons and style them. So under content, you have different items to add. If you take a look here, if you click add item, you can choose the icon. So for example, Instagram, you can add Instagram, and then under the link here, you can link the Instagram with your Instagram account. So we won't link anything. We'll just add this hashtag so it will look like it's linked, but actually it won't lead to anywhere. But as I said, you can add your own link here to your Instagram, to your Facebook account, and so on. So let's add only, let's say, Twitter and Instagram. Since in our wireframe we created 2 of them, but you can add as many as you like. Alignment will add it to the right, so that, as I said, so that this all can be aligned nicely. And then let's go to style, and you can change the color from official to custom, and then you can add whatever color you like. So let's go with, since we didn't create that here, we can have a white icon color, and then the background color, like a blue in the Twitter, we can change to transparent, so it will be basically black. Let me show you what I mean. As you can see it like this, and then the secondary will be white. Now you can add hover effects if you want, like to change the color, to add the animation, like grow, for example. If you hover over, the icons will grow. So I think we can add the hover color to be orange. So when someone hovers over it, becomes orange because we have some orange elements here. Let's see how it looks. If you click on this arrow here, we're gonna close the widget panel, and this is how our header looks. I think it looks great. So let's do one more thing, and that is to make this header be sticky. So when someone scrolls, the header will be on the top constantly. Basically, it's gonna follow them while they're scrolling. So in order to do that, we need to go to the container, because the container holds everything here. And in order for all of these widgets to be sticky to the top, we need to, as I said, set the container sticky top. So in the container advanced tab, we need to scroll down to motion effects, and then sticky top, And you can add interest animation if you want, like fade in left, and so on. But in our case, we're going to just stick with the sticky top. And then once we create this, we need to publish this. So once we click publish, this pop-up will show. Now this means is to add the condition. What does it mean is to choose where your header will display. So if I click add condition, automatically it set to entire site. And in our case, we need that. So this header template will be displayed across whole website. In our case, on our one-pager website. But if you in any case want to have, let's say, two headers, one for regular pages like homepage, contact us, blog, and so on, and the other header for, let's say, single posts like post itself in the blog, you can do that. Basically, including this header for the entire site, let's say, and then add a condition and exclude singular like posts. So you can combine that. So once we do that, let's click save and close. And then we have our header created. So if we take a look at the wireframe, we have logo on the left, menu items in the middle, and on the right we have social media icons. And yeah, that's pretty much it, how you can create header with these with Elementor. In our next tutorial, we're gonna create the footer, and later on we're gonna continue creating our main page, and you will see how this all looks. And when you start scrolling, this header will be sticky to the top constant. Later on in the tutorials, we can work on adjusting the header if needed, changing some colors if needed, but this is how you can create the header with Elementor without any problem, simply with dragging the relevant widgets and changing the style for the container, for the widgets itself, and so on.
As you can see, we can create a header with these using Elementor. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and in our next tutorial, we'll create a footer for our website. Stay tuned.